Oh, that's right. Good afternoon, everybody. Boy, are you in for a hoot and a holler this afternoon. That's right. I've got Jenkins Herlong. She is a motivational humorist, a comedian, and award-winning singer. And she is a former Miss South Carolina, and she is just awesome, and it is so nice to have her back here again. How you doing today, Jane?
So sweet. Thank you for reading what I wrote.
I just read the bigger print, Jane. Yeah. I didn't read all the small stuff.
That's the big stuff is more important anyway.
That's
You're
right.
so sweet to say that. Thank you. I hear that and go, who? You know, who's that? Who's that woman?
Exactly. Actually, though, don't you think at some point it just kind of gets to the point, you're not supposed to be overly, oh my God, are you talking about me? Right? You're supposed to be, oh, thank you.
I've never been able to do that. Is that bad?
I don't know. I don't know. But, they tell us, that you're supposed to be gracious and low-key.
Yes. I don't know what the low-key, I can be gracious, but the low-key is a little challenging.
A little challenging,
yeah.
Yes. Well, you just, go ahead and boast for us then. You just won another award.
I did. Here's the miracle. I made an F in writing in college. And not only did I make the F.
That was for fantastic?
I wish. Oh my gosh. So, and not only that, but he handed my paper out to everybody to say what not to do.
Now that's embarrassing.
Oh, I was about under the seat, and I just really.
What college was this at?
Columbia College.
Columbia, okay.
I had a chance to bless the gentleman that gave me the F with my first book in front of everybody in the school. And I thanked him. I said, you challenged me.
Yes.
That's what you do. You got to do the hokey pokey.
Right.
Flip it around.
And so what happened when you challenged him with your first book?
He was gracious.
He was gracious.
And low key.
And low key. Well, thank you. That's great. So, but what is the award?
The award is the Illumination Award, and it was out of Michigan, and I competed with like 28 countries, and it shocked me, and I felt very, very blessed, really, just humbled and blessed. So it was, the top award is called IPPY. I-P-P-Y. I don't know what that stands for, other than yippee!
Kaye.
Yeah.
There you go.
So it was for spirituality, the Gold Award, and so that came about the beginning of the year.
And that was for what book?
For Bury Me With My Pearls.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, I got another opportunity for another award, and it was for the Christian Small Book of the Year, Small Publishing Book of the Year. And it was from the Publishers Association in North Carolina. And I won that. It was in memoir and bio. And I was so surprised, and my editor keeps saying, there's just no more room left on the front of your book. And I said, find it. Find a place to put it.
Put the sticker there somewhere, right?
Anywhere. Make it an earring on that person whose profile is on the book cover.
Wow.
I know,
congratulations.
So thank you. You just keep believing and trying and let the chips fall. I don't want to be an older person wondering what if. And I just bought a little plaque. It said, destined to be an old woman with no regrets.
No, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's a good one.
That is a good one. Whether you are aspiring in the public venue like you are, or even as a person, just a person.
Yes, who has amazing talents and gifts.
That's right.
You bless people with how God made you, and your gift to the world is to develop those gifts with all the roadblocks and the potholes and give back.
And there are a lot of potholes out there, Jane.
Oh, there are tons.
Right.
But that makes the bounce back up. My friend Penny Hunt just wrote a book, Bounce, Don't Break. Same thing. When you have the potholes, don't break. Bounce back up and get back on the road.
That's right. Or get back on the bicycle, right?
Right, sure.
Carrie did that.
Oh, absolutely.
Broke his leg.
That's right. Bless his heart.
Yeah, exactly. But now your first award, though, was maybe a little sweeter because it was a panel of judges that judged that.
It was. And I was joking earlier, saying it had to be a female because the first chapter is my mama telling me don't climb a ladder because your uterus will fall on the floor. So I'm thinking that woman said, yep, I like the way this girl thinks and writes. there had to be a kindred
spirit that. But the other thing you were telling now, one of those awards, which one was it? Was from 27 countries.
Yeah, that was the first one. That was the Illumination Gold Award out of Michigan.
Right.
So that was very much of a shock. I couldn't believe it when I got the email. I really couldn't. So, you know, when you write a book, you just put your heart into it, and you're just scared to death. You know, you start getting reviews on Amazon and whatnot, and I've gotten some lovely reviews, and I've gotten some bad ones too, which my editor says, don't worry about those bad ones, you got to have them. And I went, I don't like it.
Can we take that one down?
Yeah. Always when it says, was this review helpful, I was clicking no. Absolutely not.
Well, you know, I think that's terrific. Now, of course, you were just telling me this morning you were down doing a gala presentation in Columbia at a school. At
Forest Lake Elementary School. A good friend of mine, Amy Smith. I know her daddy, who's a wonderful professional speaker, Al Walker. And I walked in, they were having a sweetgrass demonstration, beautiful, women weaving, that's an art.
Yes.
And I just talked about my roots on Johns Island, and my daddy had a lot of farming help, and they all spoke Gullah. And my granddaddy spoke it fluently. So it's an interesting language, and it became noted as a language, and Wycliffe, I think, Bible translators actually made it into the New Testament. They translated it. And it's a really fun book. I can read it pretty well. It takes, I can stumble a little bit, but just so many Gullah stories. And the woman that helped us for 50 years, her name was Ruth Blodgen, and her basket name was Tootsie.
What do you mean, her basket name?
That was her cradle name when she was born. It was a nickname thing with a lot of the culture. So it's a hybrid language. It's an English target, but it's a Creole and African based. And basically it came about, interestingly enough, from the British slave traders and the African traders. And that was the beginning of the...
And did they try to talk so that other people couldn't understand them? Was that the idea?
I had heard that, but I don't think that was intentionally done at all. I think what happened was, as far as I have read, that it just kind of morphed when the slaves came to America. They had already some Creole in their language, and some of the plantation workers already could understand it. And so I didn't pick, I had read that in the past, but this article that I read did not lend to that, which surprised me actually, because I'd always heard that.
Yeah. Well, now, did the gal that worked for your family for 50 years, did she have any particular sayings that maybe would be interesting for our listeners?
Oh, goodness. She had them all the time. I remember when I was a little girl and I was crying because someone had hurt my feelings. And she'd say, don't let that person take away the sugar God put in your heart, the sweetness. And she'd say that, don't you learn your lesson now. Let that lesson be in your back, not in your front. And
now that's a very helpful lesson. Very helpful. And so many times, I think, in today's world, don't you think our children don't learn those lessons futuristically, when they were growing up in the olden days, I'm going to say, they would learn them in the past, growing up as being out playing and working together with kids and everything.
Very true. And if you don't learn life lessons, you're going to keep getting the same lesson until you finally get it.
Exactly.
And I asked the children, I said, how many of you forgot to turn your homework in at one time? And, you know, we just took it from that standpoint. You know, did you learn a lesson? This is what I was told in a very unique way. But Tootsie was great, and I just loved her. She always said to me, and she was proud of me, and she would say, I done raised this child. She'd say that to anybody she met. I done raised this child since she's 5 months old.
Wow. Now, was she around when you became Miss South Carolina?
Oh, my goodness. She was so proud.
I'll bet.
She was so proud. She just hugged me, and I tell you the funniest stories when I was elected May Queen at Columbia College, and they don't do that anymore.
Right.
But Mama said she was so proud, she jumped up, and I didn't hear it because I had to walk down from the library and onto the grounds of the college. And she yelled, "That's my baby!"
And they probably didn't have the videos. They probably didn't have videos and everything like we have.
Baby! That's what she said. She was so proud.
That's
Just
awesome.
a lot of fun, hilarious. Just a joy to have.
Yeah. You know, I think it's amazing that we still have some of that culture. Now, it's not a huge culture, the Gullah culture, but you still have that down there on the coast.
Well, we definitely do. I mean, I was just down last weekend, and I can understand exactly what's going on. Now, some I can't. It's really thick, but mostly I can.
All right. Well, we are here with Jane Jenkins Herlong. She is a funny gal, and we're going to be talking about that and a whole lot more. She's also very much into motivating people. She's been trying to talk me into something. I don't know if I'm going there or not, but she's been trying to talk me into it. Hey, we'll be right back. Don't you go away. Oh, that's right. They played Jane 3 times today. Where did they play you 3 times today, Jane?
On Sirius XM 97, Jeff and Larry's Comedy Roundup.
Now, it used to be called Blue Collar.
It was. And
Yeah.
then I think what happened was that they don't own that term.
Right.
And so they had to revamp. But it's a whole lot more of the Larry the Cable Guy and Jeff Foxworthy. And I'm so honored that they kept me in their loop, they call it. I'm in their
Right.
loop. So I've got new material I'm sending, and I'm so excited because it's a nice royalty check every month, and it helps my car.
Keep going.
You know, my car is my XM car. So that's good.
That is good. And what about any traveling that you're doing? Are you on the road a lot?
I am. Next week, I speak for Alabama Future Farmers of America. You know, I did
You
their
like
national
those
conference.
farmer conferences.
I love them. I love those young people. They're full of energy and ideas, and they're great. It's just a leadership group of kids. You know, the millennials, they have all these little bad things attached to them.
Right.
And when you speak to someone who's an expert on the millennials, you just go, oh no, don't tell me that that's the way these people are. It applies to everybody except the farm kids.
Why is that?
Because they were raised in a different environment. They were raised with hard work and discipline, and a lot of people out there are too. I'm just not making that blanket statement. But
Right.
I do know, and I will qualify this, Paul Moya is a national president of FFA. We gave him a scholarship in our National Speakers Association. He went to Harvard Business School. He just contacted me about a month ago and said, this is what I'm doing. And he said, let me tell you the irony of this. I go to corporate America and say, this is what you're going to get. And I take what they want and go back to the millennials and say, this is what they want. He said, do you know, and he told me this, all of these things apply, all the stereotypes, except for the farm kids. They don't apply to the stereotypical millennial.
How about that?
Yeah, they don't. After 6 months, the big thing is the millennials say, I need a raise and a better job than this.
Right.
And the people of hiring go, seriously?
Right.
But the farm kids don't do that culture. It's interesting. I mean, I don't mean to be so stereotypical, but this is the trend. Isn't that exciting? So I get to speak to them twice next week, South Carolina and Alabama.
Wow. And then last year you did the big conference for the whole conference for the whole country, or what was it?
It was 62,000 kids. It was unbelievable.
And they listened to you?
They were, I couldn't believe it. At the end when I sang my little parody song that I wrote, they all had their cell phones out. I almost fell off the stage. It was a moment in my life I will never forget. I will never forget that moment. Started singing that song, Let It Go from Frozen. I know everybody's thinking you did not do that. But I rewrote it to You Can Grow. And I have a professional parody writer friend, and we partnered, and it really, it was great. Nice. We put their theme in there. You can go all out, hear me shout. That's their theme, go all out. So every time I mention, that's why we have FFA, I'll stand tall when the rains don't fall. Let the farm live on. A challenge never bothered me anyway. And then they just went nuts. I couldn't even hear myself.
Oh
they
my
were all
God, that gives me chills
well,
just
look, I got them just now.
Yeah,
I gave myself chills.
Yeah.
But it was just a moment. I just cannot describe it.
Oh,
so
wonderful.
they told me that Scott Hamilton was speaking, you know, the ice skater guy.
Right.
And before he walked down on stage, one of the FFA people said, to me, he said to me, I hope you don't act like Scott. He walked out, hit the stage, and had to go back in the green room. He was overwhelmed because of all the kids.
Wow.
And then they introduced me, and I thought, thanks for sharing that. I am not afraid. I am not afraid.
What do I do now? What do I do now, Dad?
These amazing young people. Oh, gosh, I just love them.
You know, that might give us a little hope then.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just can't say enough good things about those young people.
And
That's
you
the
coming
greatest
from a
organization.
farming background.
Oh, yes, and they didn't have a spot for women back then. My husband was a state officer. Thomas was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I also am doing a group called Beck's Hybrids, and it's in Indianapolis. It's another ag group. I go there, and then I'm in Myrtle Beach, which is not too far, which is nice. And then I go to New Mexico, which is going to be pretty extensive. That's 3 days of your life. Getting there, staying there, coming home. But I love this group. It's the hospital crowd, Healthy Woman Senior Circle. I speak for those groups too.
So you are, last year you were very busy. This year it sounds like you're very busy again.
I don't like to sit around.
I know you don't.
I don't, and you don't either.
No, I don't.
Isn't that good?
It is good.
I don't want to sit around.
Yeah. What was that new plaque that you just got, you said?
Destined to be an old woman with no regrets.
Yeah, I love it.
But then that's below the one that says, not everybody can be the queen. Some of you have to sit on the curb and wave as I go by.
I'm wearing my crown pin today just for you,
Yes,
Jane.
I saw that.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, my little Yankee friend from New York gave me that plaque, and we laughed so hard. She's so precious.
Yeah. Well, you know, you certainly have been given a lot of a lot of events and things that have happened in your life, but on the flip side, you take advantage of any opportunity that is there.
I do. I think you have to be like radar, but I think you have to be grounded. I think the radar has to be grounded, because I leave here and I go home and see my beautiful 25-year-old daughter who's in the throes of planning weddings. That's what we're doing. She getting married in October. And I have a wonderful husband, and my son's up at Clemson. So he was just with us yesterday and for a few days, and we just had a great time together. So I so cherish those family times, because I miss the times everybody said, oh, you'll miss this and you'll miss that. But you have to be grounded, and I don't think I have any right to tell anybody how to live until I experience what I feel is healthy and in my life, and I'm not going to tell anybody anything. You know, this thing with Bruce Jenner, just to bring that up. Well, what's his name? Caitlin.
Caitlin with a C.
Well, you know, and a lot of people have opinions and everything, and I'm just looking at him going, you know, my benchmark is, what would Jesus Christ say to him? He would love him and embrace him. And I just want more people to realize that the most important thing we can do is realize that we don't understand everything. And we have to let that stuff go. And just, there's a big picture out there. Yes.
Let it go.
Yes.
Yes, that's why
but
Frozen.
I mean,
yeah.
I had that big poster of him winning all those medals when he swam and all that. And, you know,
and on the box top of Wheaties. You know, Bruce Jenner, you know, all of these things. Yeah.
And I met him a few years ago. He was at our convention. And I made a comment. I said, he looks like a woman. He looks so feminine.
Wow.
But he really did back then. I mean, it wasn't too long ago. But just issues like that, I don't want to get bogged down in it. I don't understand it.
Right.
But I'm not going to tie up my head with that. To answer your question in a backdoor way, I want to move forward and see what I can do with my life and be an example for others. And I don't want to get bogged down in stuff I don't understand. I'm just going to move ahead. I think that's the best thing we can do. I mean, what good does it do?
Well, it doesn't.
It just serve a purpose.
It just creates a lot of yada yada.
It does. And my son's comment was, Mom, I guess now that he's become a woman, he's going to make 78% less of his income. Which was funny.
Yeah.
Because historically, women make 78% less money, than men.
Well,
so that was his comment. That was his own. So I love the way my children also look at things like that and issues. They don't get tied up and bogged down in it.
It is different in how young people look at all different issues.
And I respect and appreciate that a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what the world keeps changing. How did your parents feel about some of the things that were happening when you were a teenager?
Oh, they would die.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Lord.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to get bogged down in that kind of stuff. I just want to move ahead. I just don't want to have to drag baggage with me. You know, I don't want to do it.
I think the baggage thing is the issue. You don't want to drag baggage with you. Hey, I'm Ann Eller. We're going to hear a quick word from our sponsors, and we're going to be back here with Jane. If you happen to have a question or a comment, go ahead, pick up that phone, give us a call, 229-7984. That's 229-7984. We'll be right back.
Arg, are you a pirate or a pack rat? Do you have a vacation of a lifetime sitting in the attic? Or a college tuition hung on a wall? Or is a fabulous retirement hidden in your jewelry box? Bring those items to Sharp Facets Gallery. We can establish value and buy from you or sell for you. And so ends another chapter at Sharp Facets Gallery, 72 Bypass, and on the web, sharpfacets.com.
Oh, that's right. I am very blessed to be sitting here this afternoon with Jane Jenkins Herlong. You know, we've had a few calls. People want to know how they could get a hold of you, maybe to book an event or something. What's the best way to contact you?
Jane at Jane Herlong, HERLONG.com.
Oh,
shoot me an email.
That's right. So you're always interested, and since you're in Edgefield, right?
Yep.
Edgefield, that's
Close
not
by.
too far away to be able to. You could work something in, maybe, over here in Greenwood with all
Right.
the traveling and stuff you
I've
do.
been speaking in Greenwood several times over the years. Wonderful, easy drive, good folks.
Yeah.
My kind of town.
You know, speaking of Edgefield, the NWTF certainly is growing over there, aren't they?
Oh, I'm so excited. I love George and Beth Thornton. They are amazing people. You should have them on sometime. Have you had them?
No, I haven't had
Oh, you got to get them.
Okay.
Oh man, they're just changing the complexion of the town. That is a 700-acre complex.
Yeah.
It's huge. Sporting clays, camping. They're building cabins, a roundhouse. It is state of the art. They already have so much booked over there for the next year.
Wow.
I sang at the National Wild Turkey Federation convention, and it was amazing. It was 42,000 people.
Oh, yeah. We actually provide some of the jewelry that goes up there from South Carolina. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it was the only place in the United States that can house them is the Opryland Hotel.
Yeah.
And they're just all good people. And the theme is Save the Habitat, Save the Hunt. So they've got both protecting the wild turkey, and yet they are into land conservation. It's the best of both worlds. It's wonderful. Whoever came up with that branding statement. That's very smart.
Yeah. We're actually supposed to go there next week and do a tour on the radio.
You'll love it.
Yeah.
You know, I live really close by.
Yeah.
You'll love that complex.
Yeah. Well, that's what
You'll
we
be
wanted
amazed.
to do. Yes.
Yeah.
And I love all the big turkeys. Do they still have the big turkeys around Edgefield?
Yes.
All the multicolored painted and everything.
Oh, it's great.
It is.
There's some new places. When they had their first event, George Thornton told me that the merchants in the area, their businesses increased 50%.
Wow.
This is huge.
It is huge.
It's going to put Edgefield on the map.
Yeah,
it really
gonna
is.
I mean, not that Edgefield isn't on the map, home of, 10 governors?
And 9 lieutenant governors.
I'm telling you, that was big right there.
Big right there.
And then, of course, you have the pottery school, the Piedmont Tech Pottery School. That's huge over there.
Oh, there's some beautiful pieces over there. Oh my gosh, I get them to make pottery for me to send to my clients to thank them for having me. Yeah,
very nice.
They're great people, very talented. There's one artist that I'm just so enamored with. Everything she buys, I buy.
Wow.
Woo,
that's
great stuff.
Terrific. Yeah,
and it comes over here to the Piedmont Technical College over here at the Lex Walters campus. I'm on the board here, and so they have got the greatest things going at the technical colleges.
They do.
It's exciting.
And it is changing education. I think technical schools as a whole are changing education.
Well, we had about 10 students, I think, graduate this past time who hadn't even finished high school yet.
And yet they're graduating
and they're going into the 4-year schools with a whole lot less debt as juniors.
Yes.
It's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. Do you ever worry that our kids are moving too fast, though, growing up?
I think children need a childhood. And I think the children that have the worst trouble in life are those that try to skip their childhood through their parents. I see it clothes, I see it in music, and my children look at me now and say, Mama, thank you for not letting us grow up too fast. And I didn't. I just put the brakes on. I mean, my children had to repeat grades in school. Caroline had to repeat kindergarten. Holmes, I think he repeated first grade. But I didn't care.
Yeah.
I wanted them to be ready
Right.
and older in the class. So yeah, I do think they do.
I
And
mean, they
they're
just
to
seem
push.
right.
And some of them have to grow up too fast, and that's really sad.
It is. It is. And
Mhm.
I think that's something, you know, with technology and everything, everybody's saying, well, you know, it's just the way it is. But I am really worried about what is going to happen to the kids that have grown up this fast. How are they going to do when they're 40, 50, you know, when everything is past?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. And all these issues that are unresolved from the past haunt them.
Yes.
That is tough. And it comes out in the 40s.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So let's see. You're writing another book. You're working on it. Yeah. What's this book about?
It's about being able to thrive when life changes. I'm calling it Between Newlywed and Nearly Dead.
Oh
It's
my
just-
God, that's a wide place.
is.
I hope it is.
My brain has to have a lot of width. It might not have a lot of depth, but it's got some width.
Right.
So I'm starting it. I've got the chapters, and I'm sending it out, and we'll see what happens. I've got a different lead, just trying something different with a different route for this one, because the Pearl's book has been great. I've loved everything. It's just been hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a lot of legwork, and I'm just testing the waters with another venue. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
Any so how far along are you on it?
Oh, page 4.
It's got a lot of twists and turns going there, Jay.
I've got a whole file of things I've put together. So I just I pull them in.
Right.
So I could really have it already done, but I'm being particular.
Being particular.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds good. And of course, you've got a lot of traveling. You're going to be doing that. What is on your list of things that you would like to do that you haven't done yet, Jay?
A Viking River cruise.
They advertise that all the time.
I know, I see it all the time, but I keep going, I want to go on that long boat and I love that.
Yes, the champagne and the sitting there just watching the world go by.
Yes, that would be fun. Getting to the age where you're thinking about those big, wonderful experiences, you know, and I guess it is to be, and I love to travel. More, like you and I were talking about. Right. I'm not content.
Right.
I just am not. I mean, I'm thinking I could be doing more. I got to do this. I got to do that.
Well, I mean, any venue you would like to play, or any
yes.
group that you're saying that you know, I got to get to that group somehow.
I would love, I've done 2 of them or 3 of them this year, comedy shows in these in towns across the state and across the country. I would love to do comedy. That would be fun to me. That's just a challenge.
Right.
And more singing. If I could sing with a big band, and if I just dropped dead right there, I'd say, oh Jesus, I'm coming. I mean, I love big band.
I love big band
it.
music. Yeah.
I just, if I could just sing and oh man, and wear the wonderful dress, and that's just a desire of my heart.
Like the movie The Baker Boys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I love that kind of stuff. I mean, I grew up watching Lawrence Welk with my mother and my grandmother. I hate to admit that. I was like, look at the pretty dresses. Yeah. And I love the big band.
And a 1, and a 2, and a 3.
See, I know all that. That's scary,
yeah.
actually. But I love all that. I love that era. I love the music. I love Someone to Watch Over Me. I could sing that all day. I just love that song. So I would love to record some more. I've got so much stuff to think about, you know.
Do you ever find that makes it hard, though, to make a path where you're going?
Yes, I need Ritalin and Valium. Yeah, I need all of that. Oof.
Right.
Just to get focused, because I mean, I'll start doing one thing and go, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I've got just so many ideas. And the thing that's cool about all this is we can do these things anymore with the technology available.
Sure.
We can do it. It's not difficult. I just loaded up my whole big band stuff on Pandora, and I'm in review. So I'm excited. I get to have my own big band station on Pandora. Wow. So I know it's fun. So I just keep thinking, what else can I try to do? And like we said, the best 4-letter word in the English language is next. When people hear no, don't think no, think next.
That's right. You know, and for a lot of young people who are out there graduating from high school and college. That's a great mantra, Jane.
Because,
you know, they have a tendency to set their sights on one thing, and, you know, if that doesn't come through, well, then, you know, what are they going to do?
Exactly. And I feel for them because life is, as it unfolds, you will go different directions you never even dreamed. And it's going to be better than what you think. So, you know, the saying is, of course, when one door closes, another door opens, blah, blah, blah. But that can be very, very timely for this time of year. And some of you starting out in college are not going to do as well as you thought.
Right.
And it's because the Bible says, raise up a child in the way they should go, and they were old, they will not depart from it. Well, that means also the obvious,
Right.
but it also means there's a nature there. You know, I mean, I've got a wonderful son at Clemson, and he chose a major that's really hard for him. So we're having to rethink his major,
Right.
because it's not natural to his nature.
Right.
You know, it's not natural to him. So pick something that is natural to your nature and have fun with it. And if you can make money from it, ode to joy. You know, there are a lot of kids that major in this and that, and it goes nowhere, and they end up flipping burgers. I get that.
Right.
But if you can somehow combine studies and make it work and be happy and passionate and make a living. See, this generation doesn't care about money. Have you noticed that? I mean, they want enough,
Right.
but they don't want an abundance. They want to make a difference. That's what I see in my
Right.
children.
Do you?
They don't care. Caroline just graduated from graduate school, and she just wants to make a difference. The money, there's a place where she needs X amount,
Right.
but she's more interested in helping other people.
Now, what did she get her master's in?
In public administration, and
Okay.
she wants to be a campaign manager for nonprofits. She loves nonprofit work and loves the elderly. She has a gift with elderly people.
Wow.
So that's what she's interviewing for right now.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Hey, I tell you what, we are here with Jane Jenkins Herlong. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about being Miss South Carolina, and she's coming up. The South Carolina pageant is coming up.
She is. Yes.
I don't know if she's going to sing or not for this, but, well, we'll find out. Hey, don't you go away. Oh, that's right. We're right back here on WCRS. Let's see, I'm looking at this lovely picture of a woman that says Pearl on the side of her uniform. She's leaning up against a truck or something. She's got a cigarette in her mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, she was nobody's doormat and had tattoos to prove it. Sometimes you wear tattoos, sometimes you wear pearls. Successful women know how and where to wear both. And that was by Jane Jenkins Herlong with her Bury Me With My Pearls.
I have to repost that, Ann. Thank you for sharing that. I love that. You know what? I have a confession to make.
Yes? That was you?
No.
What?
My mother-in-law was the most godly woman you have ever met.
Yes.
And she was amazing, Jewel Herlong. And as a joke, I bought cards with that picture,
Right.
totally opposite Jewel. And I sent them out for acknowledgments to a couple of people. And they called me and said, "You are sick." And they were laughing their heads off because they knew, if anything, Jewel never smoked.
Right.
She never had a tattoo, and she certainly didn't look like Pearl. Somebody scraped off a diner in the bowels of the South.
Yeah,
But it was just something to make us all laugh because we missed her so much.
Yeah. You know, I think that's one thing that you are so good at putting out there is what's really important. You know, and I think particularly for women, we struggle so much because we're so splattered. I'm going to use the word splattered because we have so many responsibilities that so many times we forget about ourselves.
It's just noisy, isn't it?
Yes, very.
It's noisy. And what we have to do is surround ourselves with the right people. And I was saying to you earlier that you only need 6 friends, 3 on each side of your casket, really. And that's a lot.
What about all your social networks there, Jane?
Yeah, I mean, you know, my son thinks that Facebook friends are real friends. I hate to tell him. Really? No. But that journey in life is when you embrace those heart friends who love you just because they see your heart and they know you. And I wrote a song about that called I'm a Dixie Diva with my Ann Taylor Pearls.
Right.
And we were all in Myrtle Beach, and I go into the bling shop.
Right.
And my friends went down to Ann Taylor. And I said, I got to write a song about this. My girlfriends love me. They rock my world. They give me permission to be authentic. They help me when I whine and act pathetic. So that was one of the lyrics, and it's true. I can whine to them and just be me, and they love me, accept me, and they call me into correction.
Do you think that it's a lot easier, that it's very hard to find that kind of friendship though once you grow up?
I think it's harder.
Right.
I think it's harder. I think it's a longevity of time when people are tried and proven in your life. And people will disappoint you. I told my children, I said, relationships are like just like firecrackers and fireworks. You sit there and you blend with someone. You look up and go, oh, that's beautiful, fireworks. I don't care if it's a partner or a husband or just a good friend. And I said, then you have firecracker moments where things just pop. And I said, you learn fuse control. Longer fuses, put the firecracker out before it explodes. Don't let the firecrackers all get combine and create a bomb.
Right.
Because that's when you have problems. And I said, but here's the goal. We should all try to be sparklers.
Sparklers.
Yeah,
I like
just
that.
pretty. Just waving sparklers around. That's the good part of life. Marriage is 3 components. You have love, and you have commitment, and then you have contentment. And that's
sure there's not another one
somewhere. But you have this, woo, my daughter's in the love.
Right.
I said, you want to get to, then commitment's hard because sometimes you have challenges in relationships.
Absolutely.
But contentment is where we want to be. And it's like that with relationships, really. You're forgiving, and you don't just harbor the grudges and carry them. And, it's pitiful when good people get bitter and can't get over it, because bitter and better, the I is all about me. If you're going to be bitter, it's going to be about you. You have to, again, let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go.
I think personally, I have found that the kids I grew up with, the kids I was in school, high school with, in college, those are the friends that if I wanted to pick up the phone and say, hey, how you doing? They would say, well, Ann, how you been? And they would be, and if I could discuss a problem. But yet in today's world with a lot of people, we don't do that. And part of that, I think, is because you don't care when you're growing up.
That's true.
And you become more garnered with your feelings and everything as you get older.
You do. And you put yourself, and you have more of a protection of a wall. But that is a beautiful way of saying friendship is like a violin. The music may stop for a moment, but the strings are still there.
Yes.
They can
exactly.
pick up the phone and hear the music again.
Exactly.
But you're right. We kind of get... And we get real easy to stereotype, say, well, that's that kind of person, or that's this kind of person. And we don't open our minds to new people and new experiences that we could be missing out on. But I do think, just like in Girl Scouts, remember the little thing, make new friends, but keep the old ones silver and the others gold.
Right.
And it's nice to collect those precious metals as friends.
It is. Absolutely it is.
Yeah.
But I think it becomes a lot harder.
I agree.
And people look at you, well, she's this or she's that and this, that, and the other, and it's hard to break through.
That's right. I can't talk to her because she's this, or I can't communicate because I don't have that.
Right.
And that's sad, because I don't want to be friends with those people anyway, to be honest.
Right.
Exactly. I don't. So it's a good thing in one respect.
Sure. And one of the things, we have a young gal who is going to be trying for Miss South Carolina. And one of the things that she's told me, this will be her second try, Caitlin Stowe, she worked for us for a while on the board. She told me that it was great being in the Miss South Carolina, that there is a real sisterhood amongst all of the people. And I know you are a part of Miss South Carolina. In fact, you're going to be part of it again this, it's the end of June, isn't it?
Yeah, well, actually it's the end of July.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Maybe it is the end of June. I have to look at my calendar. I think you're right. I think it is June.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
That's right. It's the end of the month. That's exactly right.
But she says there is such good networking and sisterhood is what she called it. And it didn't matter whether it was a current group or a few years ago. There is a real relationship there.
It's wonderful, because I know when I came through the system, I was not junior miss material. Those are the smart girls. I mean, and when we got there, everybody knew each other. They had a sisterhood already. And then there were the girl state. So you had like 3 components, the girl state, and then you had the junior miss, and they all knew each other. And I saw the camaraderie before I got there, really, with knowing that there were connections. Mm-hmm. But it is a sisterhood. I mean, I went, this is the amazing thing. Caroline was looking for a wedding dress. And we went to all these places. I ran into Donna Jewell, who I crowned. And I said, Donna, of all things, where do we get a wedding dress? I said, we've been to 10 places. She said, go to this little place in Lexington called Joe Lynn's. And we walked in there, and it was like we had known her all of our lives. But just little things like that, knowing Donna, knowing her connections, and, you know, went out to eat with Allie Rogers, who we're so proud of, who came here, I believe you told me.
She was on the show with us,
She's doing great. She just got engaged, and so I love talking and communicating with Allie. You know,
she had a great attitude.
I mean,
just a very positive, focused, and I understand. Let's see, what's she doing? Didn't she go to work for football?
Yeah, she's out in Dallas working with playoffs. Right. The huge football system. And then with the new bowl system for college. But her family, they're amazing people. Oh my goodness, I can't say enough good things about
And she was
Allie's
so
family.
grounded.
Oh, grounded,
that's it. Yes.
She's great, and she's so ready. She took that year as Miss South Carolina. She needed it like dough. She left it, and now look at what she's doing now. And now she's going to leave that and become, she'll be married in next May. So, I mean, she knows how to put this here and move on to the next and move on to the next, and don't combine all that.
Right.
That's what a lot of people do. They make mistakes. They still want to be, one year of your life, you still want to be the queen. Well, that ain't going to happen.
Did you try, Jane, to make it
happen?
Oh,
yeah. Take that crown off your head. I said, but it doesn't tarnish in the shower.
I loved how the fact that you had to, I mean, when Allie came in, she was carrying her crown with her.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you got to take your crown with you.
She was shocked when she won. She was absolutely shocked. She had no idea she would win. She had been through a bad situation with her health. But anyway, she was a wonderful Miss South Carolina. Gosh, first run to Miss America.
Right.
But she has taken it, and she's used it for the next level of her life, and she's closed the door, and she's moving on. It's wonderful, you know. Yeah. It's a great experience. I'm really tickled that you all have a representative, and she's learned a lot that first go around, I'm sure.
Sure.
And this
she
will be
was
even
Miss
sweeter.
Lander, and now she is Miss Somerville. So she is Caitlin Stowe is on our radar. In fact, we were even thinking of going down and following her around on the radio.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you are listening to WCRS, and you know, Jane, I know that one of the things that Caitlin talks about is that ability to network and call people when you have a situation, and she says that's one of the best parts of running for Miss South Carolina. I'm sure any type of title type thing gives you that connection.
It does. I think the greatest thing about the whole pageant experience is what it does for you long term. You might not win, but you got to find your victory in it, because you're going to grow somehow, grow better. And I love that part. The networking is tremendous when you get to know everybody. But it's a skill you can take into the next level of your life. Caroline never was interested in competing in the Miss America system, but she loved Junior Miss. And she was in an interview one time, because we had so talked and trained and worked on that interview. And she can go in any environment now. She knows how to sit. She knows how to act. She knows how to have eye contact. She even had somebody say, "Where did you learn this?" And it's great skill to build on, to take into your career.
Yep.
And it is. Phyllis George said it's like getting a PhD in people.
Yeah.
And it is. It's a networking. It's an inner growth thing. But you have to put it in a compartment in your life. And, you know, a lot of Miss Americas and the South Carolinas have a hard time moving from that woo year when I'm in on a stick to normal.
Right.
But and like Allie, you got to be grounded to do that. And I'm thankful that my parents grounded me in that I could just move into a different direction and put that in the past and say, wow, that's awesome.
You know, that's the one thing that I liked about Allie when I interviewed her. I said, after this year is over, how are you going to feel not being Miss South Carolina? And she says, well, I love being Miss South Carolina, but I am so looking forward to just being a college student.
Right. And she went back to Clemson and finished her degree.
Yep.
And she did it right. Yep. She's very, very balanced, like you said, and grounded.
Yeah. So, well, listen, you certainly have turned a aspiring career into something that always keeps us interested. Every time you're here, I always learn so many new things, and exciting to keep up with you.
Well, y'all are real sweet to have me, and I'm very honored to be here. I really am. Thank you.
Well, it's been a blast having you here again. We'll be looking forward to your new book. And if somebody does want to get a hold of you for a speaking engagement, how again do they do it?
Just go to jane@janeherlong.com. Email me, or I'd love to talk with you, and I'll call you right back, and that'd be awesome.
All right.
This is fun to do.
Absolutely. And not only that, you have a Facebook page.
I do. I've got it all, honey. Twitter,
Oh.
LinkedIn, Google
So,
Plus, Google Minus, Twitter.
She's got it all, and she's a very busy lady. She's a very funny lady, and she certainly brings a lot of joy to those that get to hear her. And you've certainly brought a lot of joy this afternoon.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
All right. This is WCRS right here in Greenwood. Bye-bye, everybody.